At 60 miles per hour and even at 10 miles per hour, an accident can be a life-changing event. I'm Brian J. Mongaluzzo, and if you've been injured through the negligence of someone else, I want you to know that you can call BGM Law and get my team on your side today.
We have live team coverage to bring you the latest on how the state's biggest cities are getting ready. First, Hartford registrars working hard to prepare after some big problems at the polls 2 years ago. And registrars are warning about day of voter registration. Fox 61's Katie Carano has the story from Hartford.
Okay, I saw something.
There's a promise that Hartford's voter lists will be in place tomorrow.
We completed those steps by printing the enrollment list on the 23rd.
Democratic Registrar Olga Vazquez says they've been crossing off names of absentee voters, something that caused voter lists to arrive late at the polls in 2014.
10-4, thank you.
But she's worried about something else.
Preparing for a big day tomorrow, especially with Election Day registration. It's the first one for the presidential election.
Connecticut voters can register on Election Day for the first time in a presidential race, likely attracting more people to the polls.
It's going to be a big turnout. That's one of our big concerns.
But it is important to note, registrations will only take place at designated community locations, not polling places. So voters should call their local registrars for where to go.
Even if you've stood in line for an hour, but you're not registered by 8 o'clock, you're not going to get to vote.
Secretary of the State Denise Merrill says to make sure you leave yourself enough time to get to an Election Day registration center.
Don't show up at 5 of 8 and expect that you will be able to vote, because you might not be able to get registered in time.
Merrill's office has been busy prepping towns and cities to make sure they're staffed accordingly for the demand.
We're hoping to process everyone, yes. We will have about 30 people on hand, election officials, to hopefully satisfy everyone tomorrow.
Vazquez is anticipating more than 1,000 people will register tomorrow at City Hall. If you registered online, make sure you print out your voter registration card before heading to the polls.
I encourage everyone to come out and vote tomorrow.
That was Fox 61's Katie. Proof of identity and proof of residency. For example, your driver's license and a current bill showing your address. You'll need both if you want to register and cast that ballot. New Haven experienced long lines for voters during the 2014 election. Some of them even turned away. But this time around, city leaders say they are ready. Fox 61's Tony Terzi live at City Hall to explain what they're doing differently this time around to ensure a smooth day at the polls. Tony?
Hey there, Audrey. A couple of years ago, some 200 people were expected to register to vote on Election Day here in New Haven. The only problem was more than 3 times that number showed up on Election Day.
You can't vote.
100 New Haven voters were not permitted to cast ballots 2 years ago because they weren't registered by the time the polls closed.
We will have more people at City Hall working to keep the process running smoothly.
Some of the additional personnel will be responsible for engaging folks in line.
To say, hey, have you ever been registered in Connecticut? If not, fill out the voter card. If they did it online, if they have their card with them, to make sure everything's filled out properly.
Among the additional staff, an on-site IT representative.
So that if there are any problems with the computers, he will be there to take care of them immediately.
And more computers are also in place.
We will have 10 computers on site on the second floor, 165 Church Street, so that we'll be able to move people in and through there.
We pray that everything works out well.
And so do first-time voters.
Not going to be any last-minute things that I should have done and I didn't do. Like, I went to make sure I was all set. When I come in, my vote is going to be placed and it's actually going to count.